Welcome to the BurbNBougie News Recap. My news of the day is quite varied and all over the place, but this is what I have compiled for you today. We got politics, we got relationships, we got book banning, we got a little bit of everything. Please go ahead and enjoy and let me know what stands out to you the most. More school book banning news. Wisconsin School District bans dozens of books. The Menomonee Falls School District is banning 33 books for violating a new policy on books with hunchingly explicit or profane material. The administration notified school staff and students this week, removing the books from its approved book list. The authors are a who's who, including names like Toni Morrison, Margaret Atwood, and Bert Vonnegut. According to the superintendent, they violate the district policy passed earlier this year, limiting or excluding materials with hunching content and profanity. A woman who would identify herself only as Janet said she agreed with the changes to the list, saying children and teens need to know certain information, but not too graphic. The parents should decide what they read. Many of the books on the list are available in the Menomonee Falls Public Library, but the critics say that's not the point. While they're in school, they're learning how to become adults, said Kova Brown with Grassroots Menomonee Falls, a group fighting the book removal. So I think it's necessary for them to have access to the materials and resources that do give them a broader perspective on the world and have it right there. She said many of the authors are minorities and doesn't believe that's a coincidence. I think it will take some coaxing for the board to go along with listening to the community's outcry, but we're going to get out there and make sure they hear it. Business owner Keon Brown, no relation to Kova, said the practicality of repressing thoughts, ideas, or even hunchingly explicit material by banning books has long since passed. Students, can go look up the same book online, read the book, look it up. Who wrote this? When did it get made? What's it about? Why they don't want me to read this? If anything, banning the books from the school library will make them more appealing to students. Technology nowadays, the kids are going to see whatever, whenever, with permission, without permission. Banning books won't change anything. The Menomonee Falls superintendent wouldn't agree to an interview on the decision. WSIN 12 News also emailed the school board president, who didn't respond. Grassroots Menomonee Falls told WISN 12 News they plan to pack the school board meeting Monday night to protest the book ban. This is the reason why people need to vote up and down the elections. They need to vote locally because these people, these extra conservative Republican people, are getting into the PTA. They're getting into these school boards because folks don't vote. And these Republicans, these conservative people, they have a game plan, and they are able to do this because so many people don't understand what they are trying to do. These book bannings are silencing, is whitewashing, is sanitizing things. They don't want certain people to have a voice. So they are wiping that voice out, and they can do it because so many people won't vote and don't recognize their game plan. Yo, another Trump co-defendant takes a plea. Sidney Powell did the other day. And this dude is taking a plea deal yesterday. And I am ecstatic. And I wonder, how is Trump feeling today? Former Trump campaign attorney Kenneth Chesebro reached a plea deal on Friday in the Georgia 2020 election interference case, Why It Matters. He is the third co-defendant to accept a plea deal in the case, a day after former Trump attorney Sidney Powell also took a plea deal. And he agreed to testify truthfully in future trials for his co-defendants. They are flipping like pancakes. They are flipping like Olympic gymnasts. They are not going to be thrown under the bus, and I am here for it. This is the drama that we did not know we would be getting, and I am here for it. The deal came the same day as jury selection began for his trial, driving the news. Chesebro pleaded guilty to one felony count of conspiracy to commit filing false documents. Prosecutors recommended that Chesebro serve 5 years of probation, pay $5,000 in restitution to the state of Georgia, and complete 100 hours of community service. Like Powell, he agreed to testify truthfully at future hearings and write an apology letter to the citizens of Georgia. Zoom in. Chesebro faced 7 charges, including 2 counts of 2 counts of conspiracy to commit forgery in the first degree, and 2 counts of conspiracy to commit false statements and writings. He is one of 18 co-defendants named with former President Trump in the criminal racketeering case. Chesebro is credited with helping to devise the Trump campaign's plot to introduce slates of fake pro-Trump electors after the 2020 election. I don't understand why so many of these people want to go to jail for him and why so many lied for him. Trump throws everybody under the bus. Why did they do this? Anywho, if these people want to give up their freedom and their money for Trump, that's their business. You guys go ahead and let me know what you think about this. Like, comment, share. Okay, so I saw this in The Hill. Republican Tom Cotton said Biden's $100 billion request is dead on arrival. So let's look at this article. Senator Tom Cotton, Republican from Arkansas, a key ally of Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell, declared Friday that President Biden's $100 billion foreign aid and national security funding request is dead on arrival on Capitol Hill. President Biden's slush fund proposal is dead on arrival. They're not pushing it through. They're going to say no mas, do not pass go. We will not spend, for example, $3.5 billion to address the potential needs of Gazans. He added, arguing that humanitarian assistance to Gaza could inadvertently fund a resupply line for Hamas. Cotton balked at spending $11.8 billion to fund Ukraine's non-military needs, such as retirement pensions for Ukrainian government employees. That makes sense to me. Nor will we spend $4.7 billion for housing, transportation, and services for illegal aliens in the United States rather than deporting them. Cotton's tough talk signals a difficult negotiation ahead on Biden's request for emergency funding for Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan. Senate Republicans say that any new money for the war in Ukraine must be paired with changes to immigration and asylum policy to slow the flow of migrants across the U.S.-Mexico border. The Biden proposal is going nowhere, and Senate Republicans will take the lead on crafting a funding bill that protects Americans in their interests. Senate Republicans see Biden's request for Ukraine as leverage to get their long-desired changes into the U.S. Asylum policies. A group of GOP senators have discussed raising the standard for migrants requesting asylum to require them to show a reasonable fear that they would likely be persecuted if they remain in their home countries. Under current law, they must show a credible fear of prosecution. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Democrat from New York, praised Biden's request for sending a clear message to friends and allies that we have your back. This package demonstrates America's commitment to supporting democracies across the world, and above all, ensuring that America's families are safe here at home. He reiterated that the Senate would move first on an emergency spending package because of the ongoing fight over electing a speaker of the House. This legislation is too important for the House to settle their chaos. Biden has requested $61 billion for Ukraine, $14 billion for military aid to Israel, and another $14 billion to address the migration surge at U.S.-Mexico border. The president has also asked for $10 billion in humanitarian assistance and $2 billion for Indo-Pacific security. So that is where we currently are, and I don't see anything really happening because these two sides can't really work together. And the House is in flux with the Speaker of the House brouhaha between Republicans and right-wing Republicans. They just got a whole mess going on over there. Anyways, jump in the comments. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, share. Apparently, Lupita and this dude have broken up. Let's talk about it. Lupita went to her Instagram and she made a post that was in several block pages. So I'm reading it from Pop Crave that was on the Twitter. So let's talk about her calling it quits with her boyfriend Salima Masakela. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I'm sure someone will jump in the comments and correct me. Okay, this is what she says. There are much more important things going on in the world right now, and my thoughts are with those who are deeply suffering. At this moment, it is necessary for me to share a personal truth and publicly disassociate myself from someone I can no longer trust. I find myself in a season of heartbreak because of love suddenly and devastatingly extinguished by deception. I am tempted to run into the shadows and hide, only to return to the light when I have regained my strength. Enough for me to say, whatever my life is better this way. But I am reminded that the magnitude of the pain I am feeling is equal to the measure of my capacity to love. And so I am choosing to face the pain, cultivating the courage to meet my life exactly as it is, and trusting that this too shall pass. The promise, they say, is that a tender heart is what gives birth to fearlessness. I hope it's true. I share this to keep it one. I share this to keep it one and hoping that the knowledge of my experience might be useful to someone else out there experiencing the grip of heartbreak who is poised to try and escape from the pain and miss out on the wisdom that comes from it. Let's face our pain so we don't spread it. All right, so let's face our pain so we don't spread it. That is bars. But this is who she broke up with. His he is a very unfortunate looking fella. Okay, so this is them dressed up, and he's still very unfortunate looking. And yes, I know that I am being petty at this particular juncture in my life. I lean into the pettiness at times. But the fact of the way that she worded things, that he was being deceptive. I don't know if he cheated, if he like stole money, if he just, I don't know what he did. She didn't go into details, but he had a lack of integrity. And so, yes, I'm being petty because, sorry, just sorry, I'm being petty. So this dude, the instigator, said, meet Salima Masekela, son to the late, great Hugh Masekela, who turned Lupita into a motivational speaker. So he's like kind of making fun of the fact that she wrote that long essay in regards to their breakup. So apparently, Daddy Masekela is somebody important. I don't know. Please be aware that I'm not aware of all of South African history and how to pronounce things. So let's see how the Twitter was reacting. So this woman says, we ain't reading all that, but at least now she can date better looking men. And then Hurricane Hitman says, if we start with this look shaming, you'd resort to misogyny calling. Well, his version of misogyny calling. Tread lightly, ma'am. And then this next person pointed out how badly this person spelled misogyny. So this person responded with another celebrity breakup and posted this video of this person clicking down the number of celebrity breakups. So this person said, what did he do to this queen? And Jaden said he either cheated or took her money just based on the stats and how the message is worded. Exactly. That's what I took from it. And then Arima said he fumbled. So apparently this dude Salima was sitting behind Lupita on an airplane. So he tweeted this back in 2016. He says, hypothetically speaking, of course, let's say you're seated behind Lupita Nyong'o on an airplane. What would be your opening line? So he did this back in 2016. He was a fan. He had her, and then he fumbled. And I don't know if they just went public back in December 2022, because that is when officially they became a couple. I don't know if that's when they went official and they've been a couple leading up into that point. But how do you fumble so bad? And that's something that we need to discuss. How do these people fumble this badly for the folks that they actually pursue? Like, what is it about getting what you actually wanted and then just throwing it away by having a lack of integrity? And so this person on the Twitter says, yo, imagine your heart being broken by a fan. I'm so sorry, Lupita. Salima is a slimer. But I do think that this is something that we have got to discuss. And I know that this is celebrity news and all, but this is a common thing where these dudes chase and chase and chase. They get what they are looking for, they get what they want. And then after having it for a little bit of time, they put it off to the side like kids do with their Christmas gifts after 2 p.m. Like just put them to the side, take their new Christmas gifts for granted, and go right back to playing the things that they had enjoyed up until that point. What is the purpose of even pursuing somebody? Anyways, you guys go ahead, jump in the comments, and let me know what you think about this. Like, comment, share. When I wake up, I scroll my news articles, and I came across this from In Touch, and I read it. Not that I'm particularly involved with Jimmy Fallon and his relationship or even his show, but this was interesting. Jimmy Fallon and wife Nancy Juvenen's marriage is in crisis amid his rowdy partying. Now, this article speaks to many of the themes that we have been talking about on my pages. Those close to Jimmy Fallon and his wife, Nancy Juvenen, believe the couple's marriage is in crisis as they argue about his partying, money, and living arrangements. In Touch can exclusively confirm. Jimmy and Nancy have always had a contentious relationship, but it's been particularly bad recently, an insider exclusively tells In Touch, especially during the writer's strike. They were fighting a lot, arguing over money, living arrangements, and his drinking. She's very, very controlling, and it's taking a toll. The source adds that Jimmy, 49, can be a great guy, but he has demons and he can be selfish. Okay, so you see how this person describes her. She is controlling, but they are arguing over what he is doing as far as money, partying, and drinking. And this person admits that he has demons and is selfish, but basically insults her and makes her the problem by calling her controlling. And her controlling it is what is causing the toll. Okay, let's continue. As their problems increased, Jimmy moved from New York City to Mill Neck on Long Island with no clear reason why, a second insider explains. Anyone that is in the New York area, please let me know how big of a jump it is to move from New York City to Mill Neck. Nancy and the kids spend summers and a lot of weekends at Sagaponack. Okay, so we are at that point where we have discussed these men who can just take a break or who no longer want to do the work from home thing because they don't actually want to spend the time with their wives, or the dudes that could just take these extended breaks, party, and just leave their wives to be the ones that are at home taking care of the kids. Wouldn't that cause the toll? Wouldn't that cause the contention? Okay, so Jimmy is out partying. Now, Nancy, 56, has been staying home with their daughters, Winnie Rose, who's 10, and Frances, who's 8. Jimmy has been frequently spotted at local spots, including Basil Leaf, Laura's, and Garvey's Point. The second source claims The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon host is always drinking and rowdy when he hangs out with the locals in town. He would jump up on stage and sing, take pics. He was not subtle. Nancy has let him get away with murder in the past. She partied hard with him back in the day, and he always had a lot of freedom. But this is different. They are never together. The first insider notes, if they get divorced, she's going to take every penny. Jimmy makes $16 million per year and has an estimated net worth of $70 million, according to multiple reports. So basically, Jimmy gets to still live like he's a single man. And Nancy has settled into being a mom, but the contention is coming because he still wants, he has the wife, he has, what he needs to take pictures and have a certain kind of image, but he hasn't gone into the father role. That is just beyond him because he still wants to live as a single person. And so this person who, the first insider, the one who said that she was controlling, this person, which I presume is a man, is talking about she's going to take every penny. Now, I don't particularly know Nancy, but because of this article, it made me look her up. She was and still is a producer in her own right. Okay, so apparently they met on Fever Pitch. I guess he played in that, but she was a producer on that. And she produced several things in the 2000s. I don't know music and lyrics. I did know about He's Just Not That Into You. So she has She still has things going on her IMDb page, and she's still working. You can see this one is from 2010 to 2016. She's executive producer on these shows. She's still working through 2019, and she's still working up to this point, and even in 2020. So this woman in her own right is a career woman, but she is obviously still managing to be a mother. That's the reason why characterizing her in a negative way, because this dude is out partying and she's being stable and being at home, is particularly unfair. And to think that she is going to just take away all of his money is actually quite silly, especially since she has her own money. Okay, so back to the article. The couple met in 2004 when Nancy and her longtime friend Drew Barrymore visited the set of Saturday Night Live. However, Jimmy and Nancy didn't start dating until they worked together on the film Fever Pitch in 2005. He starred in the movie alongside Drew, 48, while Nancy's production company, Flower Films, produced the romantic comedy. So she, like I said, she is a career woman. Nancy previously recalled falling for Jimmy during an April 2020 episode of The Tonight Show. He was just so friendly and fun and welcoming, and he loved music. When I really developed a crush was when Bradley Thomas's kids came to set, and he had a little girl named Lucy, and Jimmy played with Charlie and really got into it as if they'd come to visit us. And so I think that's when my heart just sort of melted even more. So I don't know, I guess he looked like the role of a dad. The pair tied the knot in December 2007 before they welcomed Winnie and Francis via surrogate in 2013 and 2014. Jimmy hasn't shared much information about their relationship, though he penned a touching tribute to Nancy on their wedding anniversary in December 2021. So, wow, that's a lot of years in between. Here's to many more years of us crying, laughing. You'll never read this because you're not on social media, but as we know, these posts will be here forever. So I'm sure the kids will see this one day and say, gosh, Dad was a romantic. Their marriage troubles comes after several Tonight Show employees claimed the talk show has a toxic work environment. One former employee told Rolling Stone that the set has a glum atmosphere, while others claimed Jimmy would have outbursts and exhibited behavior. Meanwhile, several former employees revealed Jimmy has shown up to work seemingly drunk. One employee recalled an incident in 2017, while two others said he was seemingly intoxicated on separate occasions in 2019 and 2020 when they smelled alcohol on his breath. 8 other former employees stated that they could determine Jimmy's behavior based on if he appeared to be hungover from the night before. When something was wrong, we all knew how to behave afterwards, which was just sort of avoid eye contact, don't make another mistake. It would happen over the smallest thing. We would have to shut the whole thing down. The sketch isn't happening. And when things like that would happen, you would just beat yourself up. So, for the insiders who are talking about their marriage, understand that this is who Jimmy is. Even his employees are saying the same thing. So if he is carrying that behavior into his relationship, he is the problem. He is the problem. And if these ex-wives want to get married, but still act single, that is a problem. And it's going to continue to be a problem. And that is the reason why if women see this, they are opting out, because who really wants to knowingly take on the role of being in this alone and having to carry the load alone? Anyways, you guys go ahead, weigh in. Let me know what you think. And do you see how many of these themes are going across race, culture, religion, age, whatever? Many of these same narratives are being talked about across the board. Jump in the comments. Tell me what you think. Like, comment,